Greetings, my name is Shimei from magaming.com, and I'm here bringing you a battle report between Orks and Chaos that occurred in our campaign earlier a few weeks ago. It was at the 1400 point mark, and the objective for this game was to capture territory. They're both contesting territory between each other, and since one of the things in between them, notable, was a lake, they are going to be fighting over a marsh in the very center of the board there. The person with the most points in that marsh at the end of the game would be declared the winner. So the Orks got the first turn, and before we get to that, I'll give you an idea about their army composition. The Orks had 2 bolt throwers, a rock lava, and 2 mangler squigs. They had 3 trolls separated into 2 units, 1 of 2 and 1 of 1. They had a large unit of night goblins, I believe at least 40, and a unit of boys, that was 30, and there were biggins. They had an orc lord with a battle standard bearer in there as well, so there was a orc lord and hero, and a level 2 shaman, 2 level 2 shamans, 1 orc and 1 goblin, and a pump wagon. The Chaos had a chariot, 3 juggernauts, 24 Chaos warriors with Mark of Khorne and additional hand weapons, and a chimera, along with a Chaos war shrine. The chimera in the video is the void beast, and the movement tray is the war shrine because it hasn't been fully assembled yet, as of the time of this video anyway. And for the Chaos General, he had a level 2 wizard with the additional spell and +1 to his channeling. So the Orks got the first turn, and the Orc Shaman got Hand of Gork and Gaze of Mork. That's the signature spell for the Orks is Gaze of Mork. It's a random direction straight line damage. The Hand of Gork allows him to pick up a unit and move it a random distance but not direction. And then the Night Goblin Shaman got Vindictive Glare and Sneaky Stabbin', which is his 2d6 Strength 3 magic missile, and his signature from the Little Wog. Chaos got Pink Fire of Zeech, Bolt of Change, and Blue Fire of Zeech. So using Zeech and getting all magic missiles or direct damage, not too big of a surprise there. So in the Orc's first turn, he passed all animosity and stupidity checks and moved forward into the middle of the map. The magic phase was completely uneventful, nothing happened, and the bolt throwers took a wound off of the Chaos Chariot, but since he rolled low for his ulti wound, it was just the 1 wound, and the rock lava misfired and destroyed itself. Went to Chaos turn. They moved forward during their first turn. They were well out of charge range, so no frenzy checks were required there. And during the magic phase, the War Shrine cast its bound spell and gave the warrior champion an additional attack. Blue Fire killed 2 goblins, and that manifested the Fist of the Angry God. The special scenario that they had in the campaign for this battle is every time they cast magic or shot at something, they would have to roll a dice. On a 5-6, an angry god who demanded that they use melee and not pathetic things such as shooting or magic, he would appear over top of the unit and smash the unit. So on a 5-6, you place a stone thrower template, essentially, over top of your unit. And it still scatters in the normal way. So it doesn't have generally too big of an effect, but it is an interesting mechanic that you have to be aware of. So in this case, it did kill a single warrior for killing 2 goblins, which wasn't a very good trade-off. So it went to turn 2 for the Orks, who again passed all their animosity and stupidity checks. They did not declare any charges, and during the compulsory move, their forward mangler went through the warriors and war shrine, killing 8 warriors and causing no damage to the shrine. It ward saved all of it. The other mangler passed through the juggernauts and caused 2 wounds with some amazing armor saves on the Juggernaut's parts, with it being strength 6 and armor piercing. I believe they only had a 5+ armor save, but they still made a significant amount of those armor saves, only suffering 2 wounds and not even losing a man. The Orks then inched forward a little with a troll heading into the marsh to see what kind of mysterious terrain it was, It turned out to be an Earthblood Mire, which is doubly worse for difficult terrain checks. You'll fail the one, like everybody fails the 101-2. And it also is regenerating for any unit that's inside of it. The Orc magic phase managed to give a troll armor piercing, and the bolt throwers did absolutely nothing. But with the run of the Manglers, they had a fairly decent turn. So for Chaos turn 2, they moved forward away from the Mangler that was now behind them, with the Chimera flying into the Orc's flank, being threatening but not charging, and the Warrior stepping into the marsh. During the Chaos Magic phase, the Wizard failed to cast Bolt of Change, and his bound spell was dispelled, so nothing happened there. For Orc turn 3, all Animosity and Stupidity tests were passed. The Mangler that had passed through the Warriors previously went opposite direction it had come, and so it went through the War Shrine and the Warriors again. And in this instance, it actually killed the Chaos Sorcerer on top of the War Shrine, and another 5 Warriors as well, as being in front of the entire army again. The Orcs moved forward during the Magic phase. The Goblin Shaman killed a Warrior, a single one with Vindictive Glare, and the Orc picked up the Mangler and put it behind the... he moved it 4 inches, actually. So he tried to put it behind the Chaos lines to do the exact same thing it had done again and not run through his entire unit, but it didn't move very far. The Goblin Bolt Thrower hit the Juggernauts, causing a wound, which did actually remove one because of the previous Mangler hit. And the Pump Wagon actually managed to get into the Chaos Chariot, but with the amount of impact hits that it rolled, despite ignoring armor saves and being strength 5 and getting 2d6 impact hits, he only rolled up 3 impact hits and none of them wounded. But the Chariot failed to kill the Snotling Pump Wagon, and so they were stuck in combat for another turn. In the Chaos turn, the Warriors charged a Troll in the swamp and lost 4 to dangerous terrain. There weren't too many of them left at this point, and so they were suffering heavy casualties. The Juggernauts charged the Pump Wagon, and the Chimera continued to fly around on the Chaos's left flank, trying to slow down and threaten the Orc army. The Troll in the Marsh died, and the Chaos Warriors overran, and another died to dangerous terrain. The Juggernauts slaughtered the Bump Wagon, and they overran as well. In Orcs turn 4, they passed all Animosity tests, and the Manglers moved again. One went into the forest near the Chaos Warriors and died. Then the other Mangler did not move into anything. The Orc boys turned around to face the Chimera, and the Goblins moved forward. In the Magic phase, the boys gained armor piercing, and the Mangler got picked up and moved closer to the remaining Juggernauts again with Hand of Gork. The Bolt Throwers did another wound to the Juggernauts, so consistently rolling low for the multi-wounds. Only done 2 wounds so far. Or 3, I guess, maybe. The Juggernauts charged the Bolt Thrower, and Warriors charged another Bolt Thrower. So both Bolt Throwers were under attack by the Chaos Warriors on the far left Orc flank. The Chimera moved to the flanks again, continuously flying around, trying to keep the Orcs delayed at the very least. And the War Shrine, no longer with Chaos Sorcerer on top of it, stepped into the marsh. The Juggernauts overran off the table after slaughtering the Bolt Thrower, and the Warriors were near the edge of the table. They didn't make it all the way off, but they were very close. So for Orc turn 5, the Animosity and Stupidity were all passed, and the Mangler ran over the Chariot and killed it. The boys stepped into the marsh, and the Goblins turned around, faced the Chimera. magic was uneventful at all, except for the Fist of the Angry God manifested and killed 3 goblins and the Orc Shaman. For turn 6, the Orcs charged the Chaos Warshrine in the marsh at the end of the game, and they lost 9 from dangerous terrain, but they still absolutely won the scenario. So now, looking at this battle again, because this was not one that I was personally playing, and this was one by the other guys I was playing on the other table, and I've reviewed just exactly what happened. It was almost entirely a Mangler victory. The Orcs and Goblin units themselves really never got into any kind of significant combat, because the Chaos army was entirely dead to Manglers by the time they got there. Now, Chaos will have a difficult time dealing with Manglers because they're Strength 6 and Armor Piercing, and Chaos has no reliable shooting. The thing about Manglers is that they can get shot down rather easily. You get a -1 to hit them, but they're only toughness 4 with 3 wounds. So it is entirely possible to shoot them down before they do any damage. Or if you have a sacrificial unit that you can run into the Mangler, it immediately dies and will do 3d6 hits rather than 2d6 to the unit that popped it. For his current setup for this battle, the Chaos player's only real unit that could have done that would have been the Warshrine, which moves significantly slower than everybody else. It may have been a decent idea to do that, though, to have the Warshrine out front when you know you're going up against Manglers. With the level 2 wizard on top, it would have been pretty risky, that you would have just lost the wizard. The Warshrine itself, with a 3+ ward, will most likely not die to the Mangler hits, especially because it's toughness 5, so it gets wounded on 3s rather than 2s. But so that's one option. You can either pop the Mangler or you can shoot it down. And he, the Chaos player that is, had about 2 to 3 turns to magic missile the Mangler that was headed towards his warriors and Chaos Warshrine. The other one was significantly farther away, but it also did less damage. If he had managed to pop that Mangler with blue fire rather than targeting goblins, because he killed 2 goblins with blue fire, which the most you could ever kill of goblins out of blue fire is 6. Which would not have been worth it. If he had gotten, because he got 3 strength 5 hits on the goblins, if he had gotten 3 strength 5 hits on the Mangler, even with that single cast, he had a chance to just straight up remove that threat. So going into the next battles, he is certainly going to be thinking about sacrificial units, because Chaos do have some, like Warhounds, for example, are very cheap and can be taken in units of 5. So you can actually get an effective trade for a Mangler. They actually, 5 of them cost less than half the points of a Mangler. And so if you pop a Mangler with some Chaos Warhounds, you are sitting good. Like, it's an excellent trade. Or run in with the Warshrine, or just magic the things to death before they get to your lines, because it was absolutely devastating in this game. Almost every single casualty was from a Mangler. For the Orcs, they really didn't have to do too much. He got unlucky with his Stone Thrower dying in the first turn, but the Manglers won it for him. Some of that was random movement, like the Manglers going through the first unit is guaranteed, but after that they move randomly. So for the first Mangler hit doing killing 8 Chaos Warriors, that pretty much pays for itself, and that's all you really need. The fact that it decided to go back into the Chaos Warriors and kill more and kill the Wizard was absolutely gravy. And the one on the left side only caused 2 wounds to Juggernauts, which is statistically very unlikely. But it also did kill the Chaos Chariot. And the Chaos Chariot absolutely paid for it, because it's about double its points value. That and all of the mobility being on the right flank, but only having war machines as targets, meant that there were a lot of excess points being used on that right flank. The Chimera itself would have most likely served a better purpose being on the right flank, because it could have taken out those war machines reliably and quickly within the second turn, and not tied up that entire right flank to have the Juggernaut's chariot and all that other stuff on that side. So if the Chimera had been on the right side and the other stuff had been deployed on the left, it may have been a different battle. So there's some things to learn, and everybody grows from all of their battles. Wasn't too much of a learning experience for the Orks, except that the Manglers are absolutely worth it. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned about just how dangerous they are for any other army that goes up against them. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. You can find us at ma-gaming.com or on our Wargaming or gaming channels. That's MA Wargaming and MA Gaming channels for YouTube. And we will see you again next time.